under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah. Good evening, everybody. Thanks for coming. First order of the business tonight is the approval of minutes of the previous meeting.
It's easier to do a block.
Approved as written.
Second.
Any corrections, additions, or deletions? Seeing none, those in favor?
Hello.
Yep.
Oh, hi. How are you?
Thank you, Q. Selectmen's comments.
I wanted to give a shout out to Opal and Kim for a great town meeting, and very smooth and very not too long. I've been in touch with Consolidated Communications to let them know that the broadband part passed. So we acknowledge that. I'm not sure what if they need in the near term.
Yeah. It may have been domestic, just got out.
And I think I've talked to a couple of board members about this already, but I thought it would be a good idea to have the solar committee stay active for at least another month or so, have a meeting or two, make those tweaks that were mentioned at the town meeting, and then just tee it up for an amendment next time we have a town meeting. That's it.
Is that it? Dale?
All set.
Jason?
Let's see, first of all, I won't be at the first meeting in June. I'll not be able to make that. David, I didn't know where we were on the float situation. I'm not putting it all on you, but I don't know, I heard the thing, but I don't know anything about it. In regards to the floats at the park.
The drawings that you sent me are really, really complicated. I think that's a case of a really overbuilt boat. I mean,
Nobody said I got those from the state. My understanding is, as long as it's 6 by 16, and it can hook up to the concrete above and down there. So far as the connection.
and the young fellow that said he was going to build them, he
Well,
kind of backed off.
Yeah, I mentioned before there that he ran into
Why don't we get together down there someday this week?
Yeah.
This coming week, you and and I'll do some measuring, and I think I can look this up.
Well, and even if frankly, even if only one got built, to get started, 16 feet out is quite a bit out in the water. Anyway, that was one thing. The other thing is,
The ones I normally build are 8 by 30, you just scale that set of plans down,
yeah,
and make it very simple.
yeah, I didn't mean
All it's got to be is a box of floats.
Right.
You know.
Not trying to dump this on you. The other thing is, I talked to Tommy or somebody, or maybe even Kim, but do we want to, I'm offering this, do we want to meet next week, like a week from tonight? Do we want to have a meeting early to just, do we have some stuff to get caught up on, whether it's expense details or going forward? I already forgot what I thought we were going to do.
When's our first meeting in June?
June 7th.
And you won't be able to make that one?
No, I won't be here.
Okay.
No, well, it isn't that I had to be
What's the
here.
date? What's the date 2 weeks from tonight? Is that?
31st.
Yeah, it's what it is, the day before the first, right? Thursday's the first of June.
31st.
Yeah, I just offered up, because we talked about, we had some, I already forgot what we talked about.
Well, there was a couple of policy things that we wanted to tweak, that I don't know if it's the right time to talk about.
There's just some catching up that I thought we might want to do. Oh, I know, it was you. I talked to you about some things. That's right. Kim had wanted to talk about.
Okay, why don't we do a 5 o'clock meeting
Yeah.
and not a regular selectmen's meeting? You want to make it a workshop?
Yeah,
Or
I think-
is there something we're going to need to vote on? If we need to vote on it, it should be a meeting.
Well, make it a meeting, but,
Let's make it a meeting.
because the other thing is, do we want to talk about scheduling evaluations?
Yeah,
in
we can
June?
do that.
Kim had a couple things to talk to the board about, and the board has a couple things to talk about.
Yeah. So let's do an off-night meeting at 5 p.m. next Wednesday. Is that okay with everybody?
Sure.
So, week from tonight, 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock, all right with everybody? All right.
That's it.
Yeah, let's do that. I actually have nothing tonight. Public comments, now's the time to talk to us about anything that's not on the agenda. If it's on the agenda, please wait for it to come up. And Debbie.
Just a reminder, Memorial Day service, Monday night, 7 o'clock, Days Ferry Congregational Church, the 120th anniversary Town of Woolwich Memorial Day service.
Road Commissioner is not here tonight. Do we have a report from Jack?
He said that he is going to be putting up the electronic speed sign very soon. And that also he is getting ready for striping and the paint is on order.
Okay. Anything from the codes office?
No.
And Brian's not here.
I have
Are you doing Brian's report?
Yeah, since May 3rd, 26 911 calls resulting in 17 transports, 9 no transports, and 1 transfer from Miles Hospital back to Woolwich. MC1 was used 1 time. Brian wanted to remind everybody that it's EMS week, and we've been working hard to recognize our EMS staff for their hard work and dedication. And we were just notified by a Maine EMS bulletin that as of June 19th, all drivers, non-licensed people that drive the ambulance, must be separately licensed by Maine EMS now. This requires a separate background check and application through Maine EMS, $21 a person. Brian states, I will be covering the cost out of the EMS budget as I cannot see asking our drivers to pay this. It has zero benefit to them outside of Woolwich, whereas EMS provider licenses can be used at any EMS service in the state of Maine. I completely agree with him. I wanted to talk to Allison tonight about that. I'm not very happy with the state for that. That's just going to hurt these little services.
So what do you mean by non-licensed?
A driver, anybody that drives.
Just the driver,
Right.
but,
So now they have to add another-
He's the driver.
but I thought all the driver education stuff and.
Now they want another level.
Another way.
They're all, nothing changes that. It's just another license and it's another way for the state to make money.
Not like
Separate
other
class
cars
or
that
separate
work.
No,
test
it's
for
just an
the-
application and you copy the driver's license and then do a driver's check, right? It's the same, we do that in-house. Why they're charging us to pay the state now?
Basically, it's another card in his wallet. It costs $21, right?
Yeah, well, it's just, and it's another thing with the state.
Is it good forever, or is it just?
I don't know.
You know the answer.
The state just dumped us on us last week, so, the other day. But, yeah,
How many drivers do you have?
probably 6 or 7, but here's the problem. Once that takes effect, if I'm on a car accident up here and I've got both ambulances out there and the crews are getting ready to transport, I can grab a firefighter and say, hey, you're driving the ambulance going Maine Med, you're going to Pickups. I can't do that now. Because if they're not through the system in the state, they're not licensed.
So you,
I'm gonna
actually, everybody that works with EMS has got to have one of these licenses.
Everybody, and I'm gonna go extra and I'm gonna have some of my firefighters have it too, so that in the off case that they have to drive, I need them to be able to drive.
What was the deadline on that?
June 19th.
Oh.
So we've got time.
All kinds of time.
Yeah,
No,
it's just,
I'm
yeah.
joking.
But anyway, so that's that.
So do EMTs also have to?
No, they're all already covered. This is just for drivers, just focusing on drivers. Which again, I don't
Because the
understand.
EMTs drive too, obviously, but.
Yeah, but well, this is a license. You're gonna be licensed as an ambulance operator.
So
Why
these are-
they need a license? I
This
don't-
affects the people that are now just drivers.
Yeah,
So like,
No other-
yeah,
yeah. Oh yeah, this, how many 7 or 8 of us? That we rely on our drivers, like that's the backbone, you know?
It's another way the state of Maine is squeezing $21 out of a few people.
Yeah.
It make it harder for us to find drivers.
Right, make it harder for us to find drivers when they're trying so desperately to support the EMS.
Sure does. This is not the time to throw wrinkles.
Right. On another note, Rescue 1 is, we're having an issue with the stretcher on Rescue 1. We have a technician coming in tomorrow to do an emergency fix on it, and the hydraulic leak on it. We could technically fix it, we're not fixing it. We're having a technician fix it, because we don't know why, but anyway, that's that.
Okay,
Can I have that report?
So before you
Yeah.
move
I
on,
just, I've got my stuff.
Oh, okay, sorry.
right, Tommy, did you have anything? But for me anyway, we do want to recognize you and your providers for this week of service and what you do for the town and whatnot. And Tommy, did you have anything?
Well, I just echo what you said. I think the select board is sending a thank you card to all of the EMTs and drivers and a Dunkin' Donuts gift card,
Awesome.
and just to show our appreciation for what you guys do for the town.
Perfect. Thank you. We definitely will appreciate it, and I'll spread that one.
okay, switch hats and give us a fire chief report.
Whoops, did you
I just have one quick question. Do you know if Brian is planning on still staying on as the WEMA director?
EMA, I believe so. I will confirm that with him, but I believe so. That's just basically he communicates with the county EMA, and basically so we have a storm and stuff.
Okay,
But I believe so, but I'll double check with him. If not, I'll probably take it on.
okay.
But I can confirm that with him. Fire department, we've had 21 calls this month. We have a training going on right now. The Forest Service is downstairs. Unfortunately, we couldn't get the helicopter because of the weather. They're having a really good hands-on training tonight. I have applied, we've got a crew going to the Memorial Day Parade in Bath on Monday, and then I've got the application for the Maine Heritage Days Parade in Bath, the 4th of July, giving that the insurance today. I'm not paying $30 for they require $30 for attendance. We've never paid them, I'm not gonna pay. We cover the fireworks for them. I think we can get in the parade for free. But anyway,
If you take out the fire trucks, all the other things, have a parade.
$30 to march in the parade?
to just be in attendance, but they try to charge us every year, we've never paid. We, in turn, we cover them for fireworks, so I think that's a pretty easy deal for them. Flags, Cruiser, Larry and a couple guys have been getting through flags and probably get those up over the weekend, so.
That's great, that's good.
Other than that,
Are we okay with the flags and the condition?
I asked him yesterday how things were, and he's going through, there's a few, they got pretty beat there last season on flags, but I think we still had some in stockpile, so.
Well, good, 'cause I have no idea how we're on funding on that.
We actually have money.
The donation flag account?
Okay. Well,
Don't tell Sean. Oh, sorry.
Oh, are you talking about the fire account or the flag account?
No, the donation flag account, the ones for the, you're talking about the ones for the polls, right?
yeah, oh no, that,
On Route 1?
yeah,
We have some, we have plenty.
yeah. So we'll get those taken care of.
Great.
That's it?
Yeah.
Anybody have any questions, Sean? Okay? We'll move in. Under old business, let's take up EMS director
Thank you.
job description. We'll update the, I think we should replace the July 15th, 2013 one with this new one here dated this date.
Tom, any background, or have you seen it?
I haven't seen it.
All right, you, but Brian has?
I've reviewed it with Brian, he hasn't seen the document, but I have. I went through it with him to make sure we didn't forget anything.
Okay.
And really, this is a necessary precursor to advertising, right?
Yeah, and it's really, it's just an amplification of the previous one. It's the same essence with being more specific about the things that are expected.
Right,
That we're responsible for.
and it sort of helps to cover the stipend part versus the, right?
Right, it also tells the story that we talked about at the town meeting where the reduction in the stipend was be made up for by an expectation that they will do at least 24 hours worth of duty shifts every month, and that would essentially bring the rate back up to about $10,000 a year by doing that.
Basically, we should be just amending it as of this date.
So the only problem I see with that is we need to add under the qualifications that you must be an EMT. Because they're not gonna work an EMS shift if they're not an EMT. Those shifts are just for EMTs, so it needs to be required. And the EMS director should be a licensed EMT with the state anyway, so.
Yeah.
So let's add that under qualifications. I don't see, I was just
It's
glancing
not
over.
there, yeah, it's.
I'd like to add that.
It's not there.
If we can.
Okay.
Basic, EMT is fine, that's fine. If they're a medic, that's good too.
So you want, I think that's right. So you
Yeah.
want to adopt this with that adjustment?
Yeah.
All right,
So what verbiage are we adding?
Just has to be an EMT.
Yeah, hold an active EMS license in the state of Maine, that's,
Is that what it should say?
yeah.
all right, so it should say the EMS director has to be licensed at least.
Or,
Hold any,
Some flavor of
needs to have,
EMT.
exactly, hold an EMS license in the state of Maine.
right, so possess or hold the EMS
Like your
license.
basic advanced or
So,
All
paramedic.
right,
you're gonna write down
I'll
that?
do it, I'll do it.
all right, so we'll add that verbiage to it. Then I'd entertain a motion to accept the amended EMS director.
Which you see no issue, no other issue, right, Sean? I mean,
Yeah, it looks pretty
We're
good.
good, or still good? I would move that we amend the current EMS director job description with the current proposal.
With the one proposed tonight?
That's it, that's the one.
On this date?
And on this date,
With the correction that Sean wanted, right?
That's right.
Qualification of having to be an EMT.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor? Okay. And we will amend it as of May 24th, 2023. Okay?
So are we, on that note, are we now going to
Advertise the job.
accept applications or
Yes, we
advertise?
should advertise the job.
And what's the best way we want to do that, or do you already know?
I will put it on, actually, I got a lot of responses from Indeed. I get a lot of that, but MMA, and,
Well, we put an ad in the Wisconsin paper.
I know, I
it's not
hate
really
advertising it
much.
because we get no responses from the paper and it costs a ton of money.
Yeah, that's the problem.
It costs so much money, especially with that long of a description in there.
So while we're finishing up,
Is there a state-sponsored
To go on MMA.
EMS
MMA, yeah.
website?
I mean, MMA probably your best bet.
But other than
Maybe
MMA,
that's
there's a state EMS association. Do they have a job posting?
Oh, I'm sure they have a section of it. I think MMA is your best. That's where I get a lot of guys getting their,
Okay.
folks is from MMA or like consider these.
Right.
Even, I mean, obviously the town, I'll put it on Facebook on
I
the.
don't know that the actual job posting needs to have every word of the job description.
Yeah.
No, you just
No,
refer to
we
it.
can summarize it.
We'll post that on the website so
Yeah.
that it's accessible.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
And then,
How about the sign on it in the room?
I can.
Well, like you said, we're going to share it with your.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Applications for EMS director?
So what's the due date? Do we have a deadline?
Well, I won't be here until next Tuesday, so I won't even get
That's
advertised.
way too
till
soon
then.
anyway.
I would say.
I won't even advertise it until Tuesday, so,
If you make it the first meeting in June,
I would
I'll be
say,
here.
I would say first meeting in July.
okay.
Are we okay with everything?
Yeah.
Are we,
Yeah, my only, so, I've talked to Julie Houston. I'd like to make her the interim director effective when Brian is done, June 30th. If that's okay with you guys. We've chatted about it, she's off, she doesn't want to be it obviously forever, but she will be interim until, just basically the same idea when Glenn,
and she's assistant now?
she's assistant right now, so, yeah, she's second in charge.
Well, we just
Put
appoint
it
that.
in,
Yeah, interim.
Yeah, I need somebody at the helm, just,
And we don't have to do that tonight anyway.
no, that's fine, but I wanted to mention
We
it.
can do that at our second meeting in June or something, right?
yeah.
So what did we decide real quick again? Oh, you said July.
Yeah,
First meeting in July.
when do we have,
Close
when do we
the
have,
first meeting in July.
That what, close?
Let's close applications.
Okay.
The first meeting, the date of our
No,
first
no,
meeting in July.
can we do it later than that? Because I want to be here when we're doing it, I'm will be away that week.
Okay, which week are we talking about?
First, July 4th week.
This is for the applications to be,
Why don't we just say that the application deadline is like the 1st of July, and then we take it up.
Right, we can,
Mid-month or something.
just because we
Saturday.
close the date, I would say let's close them on the date of our first meeting, because then
Yeah.
we could all take what is home, all except for you,
Okay,
what we hear. And we can take them home to look at them, and then doesn't mean we have to vote on them that night. I wouldn't vote on them that night. I'd want a chance to look and read them, and
Yeah.
you won't be here.
And we might need to get
The
references.
week after, so it's.
So we got a couple options, right? We got the first meeting, or we have June 30th, which is a Friday,
right.
and. we
No,
just-
what,
No, it's not Friday.
well, June 30th is the last day of the fiscal year.
Okay.
That's a lot.
No, I just meant that would do.
Oh,
Not to,
okay.
no, we don't have to do anything. We don't have to do
You
anything.
wanna make them do June 30th?
They're just due, we don't have to do
And
anything.
then everybody can pick them up. You can take them with you on vacation
Sure.
and read them.
Yeah,
Or at least, yeah, and then we'll wait until we all get together.
All right.
No, we definitely should have the whole
So
thing together.
let's accept applications until June 30th. Is everybody okay with that? And then we'll vote on them either the first or the second meeting in July.
I may have to do that by Zoom because,
Are you gonna be out both meetings?
no, I'll be here for the first one, but not the second one.
How about if we, whatever meeting we vote on, we'll accept a written
Okay,
vote.
okay,
July 5th is the first meeting, right?
right, yeah.
You won't be here. You will be here.
Okay.
I think we're allowed to do that because of the opera thing. Remember, they.
Oh, I see.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right, anybody have anything else on the old business? All right, once with liquor license renewal, I assume it's this
Mr. Wayne Westcott is sitting right in front of us. Right over here.
So we can wait.
I would entertain a motion to waive a public hearing.
So moved.
Second?
Those in favor of waiving the public hearing? Okay. Now, those in favor of the liquor license?
So moved. Or motion, so moved.
Motion to move to grant it. Second? Those in favor?
Thanks for stopping by.
Great job.
Don't ever make us go through this much work again.
Now we're celebrating.
We say this every year real quick, but the select board is extremely appreciative of the businesses in the town of Woolwich. You folks have done a really good job down there, right?
They've done an excellent job, just don't mess with the cheeseburgers.
Okay, so we'll come, that we expect.
We place a lot of ads on Indeed, trying to get qualified staff, so it's a continual battle keeping people dialed into what is known as hospitality, so. And we like being a part of Woolwich.
We like you being
That's
part of
right.
Woolwich.
Thank you, appreciate it.
The only problem I have, since you've been there, my OUI count has dropped a lot.
Oh, because
Stop the tape.
we are being recorded, right?
It has really.
We only hear, personally, I only hear very
We
good
have
things.
to serve responsibly, so if it gets that tough, we have to start throwing rock and roll parties again, I'll probably be suicidal before then.
We only, I think we only hear great things, good food, good
We're
service.
trying, yeah, working hard on it.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Always looks busy.
Well, 30 of the cars are the staff.
Still looks busy.
That's a way to look busy.
We're definitely supported by local people with, with the history, as you know, I mean, the place has such great history, well before my time, and, I think we're in an era that it's important to bring back those things that were important back in the day, so we're working hard on trying to make sure, less is more type deal, keeping things simple to satisfy, and, it's a challenge, so I'll tell you, I mean, it's like any business these days are a challenge, but, it's long-term, so. Thank you for all the support, and again, if there's anything that I can do on behalf of my business to be a part of the community here, we're constantly donating anything we can to any communities, including the high school of Morris, whatever we can do to be a part of it. All you have to do is reach out for me. The answer's not been no once. And we just celebrated, let's see, April 18th was the 5th year we've been there, so. There's been a lot been accomplished, but we're hoping to keep the curb appeal thing coming and keep, whatever comes in is going right back into the facility and its staff, so. But, I look in the mirror and I'm like, what the hell happened? Like, it just,
Join
like,
the club.
time goes by fast,
Yeah, it does.
Right.
Okay.
Is this site, is the letter's been signed?
Right there, look.
Oh.
I think he wants to take it with him.
Oh.
Okay. Assessing agent's contract. A motion to accept the assessing agent's contract and sign it would be in order.
I'll make that motion.
Can I,
Just to get to discussion, right?
yep,
So I'll
okay.
make a motion.
There's a second. Okay, discussion.
I would like to know, with this LD 290, who is going to be responsible for entering the information and maintaining the information on the assessing side, because it goes into short maintenance on the real estate side, and Juanita does not like anybody in her short maintenance screen.
So this
So-
would be similar to the homestead exemptions and all?
Yeah.
And she does do that?
Yep. This is an exemption, so that's what she enters now, and I want to know who's responsible for it.
It's different, but what I meant was she does.
The town office, the front office, or if it's the assessing agent.
So one of the things that may affect this, and I don't have any inside knowledge, but I think most of you know that there's a bunch of bills in the legislature to change this in some way, not eliminate it, but change it. I think the most palatable one that I have heard is to turn this into an expanded homestead exemption. And that, so I guess my question
Yes.
to the moving administrator is that something that we can anticipate, if it's similar to the homestead exemption, it's just a different age requirement, is that something you think she would be, no?
Well, when Candace and I were at the convention last Thursday, that was the big topic, was the LD 290. And Trio was there because they've already made the modifications on how to put it into the Trio short maintenance screen. And Kate Dufour was there telling us that, you know, all the bills that are in legislation right now that are hopefully going to change this bill.
Now that
And,
Trio's done all
and
this.
now that how Trio will accommodate this, now that they've gone to all the great lengths of changing it. So, I think it's
I don't
just
have,
gonna,
yeah, I don't have the answer.
yeah, I don't know, you know, if, when a bill is ever gonna get enacted and passed, to, you know, like, we had somebody today who was talking about the LD 290.
I would think.
Well, it could be, well, if we pass something this year, it would go into effect 90 days after we adjourn.
Right,
Okay.
which that would be great.
So that's where it gets
Would be
conflicting,
this upcoming year.
Right, that
This
gets-
year is already going to go into
This year is
effect.
already gonna go into
Yes.
effect, so this
Yes.
would
Okay.
affect moving.
So no matter what, we're going to do it for 1 year.
Yes.
And so now we have to deal with this, and
Yes.
they did, and
Okay, I would think that it's no different than Homestead, that we would expect Juanita to do it. That would be my feeling on it.
you have not discussed it with her.
Nope, I have not.
So the data, hasn't the data already,
All we have done is to taken the applications and verified all the information.
okay,
Trio just came out with the information and the modifications to the system to add them and
Oh,
make
okay,
the exemption,
okay.
you know, of the percentage.
Okay. Juanita's either gonna have to do it, or she's gonna have to tolerate some of the staff using her.
It's the short maintenance,
Short maintenance
which,
screen.
How long is it gonna take, you think? I mean, I don't mean that disrespectfully, but is it 2 minutes of,
I don't know, I mean, we
Applications
probably
or
have a
something?
couple hundred applications,
so it could take
but
days or
it could
hours?
take a couple of days, could take a couple of hours. I don't know, you know, what,
Have you seen the software in
I have.
operation?
Well,
yeah. I mean, it was just shown to us last Thursday,
Would it,
so,
well, we're having a special meeting next week, we set up next Wednesday, I don't know if you caught that. At 5 o'clock, and it's a select board meeting, would it be inappropriate to table this till next week?
That's fine.
And should we have the
Well,
chair?
I think regardless of the outcome of that, we've got to have a assessing agent.
No, we do, but not till July 1, right?
Right.
So what if this has to be amended?
We could put this off for
Or
a week,
not.
but I think we would have to,
What I was concerned with, Amy, was what if two things? What if she says, not comfortable with the staff doing the Trio thing, but yet I'm gonna have to, it's gonna cost more money?
Gotta be one way or
Right, it's gotta be one way or the other,
Yeah.
so I guess what I was thinking was before we,
I'd give her an extra Thursday off every other month or something. And,
well, I'm just
you know,
wondering if we should,
swap it off.
Yeah.
We've done that in the
if
past.
we shouldn't talk about it before we.
But no, all right.
I don't know, what do you
Let's
guys
table
think?
this for a week.
And it's gotta,
Okay.
It's gotta get addressed, right?
yeah, it's gotta be addressed.
We gotta
And
know,
so she either
And,
has to do it, or.
well, and we don't have any extra funding for it.
Can you convey to Juanita that this was the discussion and tell her that we need to know if she's gonna do the data entry or if she's gonna allow staff to do it, and then we're gonna have to figure out who's gonna do it, okay?
I don't suppose you'd be willing to let us do it.
To
or the
enter.
assessors.
Yeah, come on.
Okay,
It's easy.
okay, moving on. Fox tree service, removal of the additional trees. They took $1,000 off the cost of what they've done already because they're not cutting up the wood and the firewood and all of that stuff, right?
Yeah, they sent a bill for
So,
$8,000, yeah.
And roof is, the grants that we're getting from Kelt is paying for all of this anyways. We've got 4 more trees over here that are rooted, and initially I thought it would be best to leave them there just so we'd have some trees. But Jason and I was looking down there the other day, and it would be, if those 4 trees were gone, it would be very doable for us to put a road from the back doors of this place down that direction, down to the park down back. And that'll allow us to close off the road up here and give us better access to the back of the building when we have to get stuff in and out of the basement and everything. So, I would be very much in favor, the grade is actually better going north than it is going the other way. So, I would be very much in favor of taking those last 4 trees down. It's $3,500.
Kim received the quote, and also don't forget that,
Yep.
yes, we,
It's $3,500, but I think it's $3,500 well spent.
So would that come out of the same money?
Yeah, my
That
understanding.
should come out of the Kelp.
So two things, David, right? There's this $3,500 for those trees, but they reduced the other price. And then also, I think, the board needs to agree on this, we need to have the stumps ground out front here.
Right.
6 or 7 in the parking lot, because the construction project, the road DOT project, you guys all got the email the other day that it pointed out that area and the light, but it still could be a couple of years away.
Well, yeah, there wasn't any date on it.
No, but it did talk about the 25, I mean, 24, 25, whatever. So I think it needs to be done, and yes, I do think that there's no objection from Ruth, it's all part of the road, septic relocation for
But
the
I think you
road.
said the stump's what, 150 an hour?
Yeah, I think that's.
They can do a stump in an hour, stump
Well,
an
even if,
hour and a half.
right, even if it was a day thing and they were budgeting $1,500, because it's the ones out front, the one that we already took,
Right,
and then the ones around the corner,
right.
up top, because if we don't, it would not look very.
I thought we were doing the changes to this part this year. I thought DOT was doing that this year.
No, so, well, we don't know that, we were told so this is the deal with DOT is we have to take the trees down,
Okay.
we have to relocate our septic system before anything happens from
Okay.
them. The notice we got the other day, they're starting their engineering, their surveying, their design,
Okay.
we know they're gonna do it, but we have to do ours first. And,
Okay.
and so
Okay.
Ruth, as we all know, there's no local tax dollars in this. We've already sent out some bills to
Yeah.
Kelp, and me personally just thinks that we should follow up with all this.
I don't think Kelp would include the road down back. though.
No, but I think those have to go to have material to do the slope,
Right.
to do, it's all,
Yeah.
it's all part of the whole deal.
There's, there's gonna be, it's what they call take and put. You take gravel from one spot, put it on another spot. And like Jason was saying the other day, we can take all the fill from the existing septic, leach field. We can keep it on the property. But
Can't
we
be part of the new
We can't reuse it in the new leach field.
I'm worried about it.
So we'll get a lot of gravel out of that.
Well, there's a lot of little steps to this, the kiosk out
This used to
here.
be a gravel pit at one time.
Yeah.
So I think the whole banking out here is gravel.
Well, the replacement septic has been designed in the bottom section to the left, facing this white building right now to the left side at the lower level. So this,
Oh, all the way down to the bottom?
yeah, well, and then it gets elevated some, but it's not gonna be way up at the top.
Okay.
If it comes
Well, I
up
was
5.
wondering where that's gonna be.
Oh, no, I think you'll see the bottom come up 4 or 5 feet, and that's the septic system, the disposal field.
Yeah.
So, this is the time we would get it, obviously we need to put together the information to go to bid later this summer, but the new tank, the new disposal field, clean the whole area up.
Okay.
So we don't think,
So the motion should be $3,500 to take down the trees and $1,500 for the stumps.
Yeah, I get up to
And,
whatever.
and based on the fact that the money is gonna come from the Kelp grant, not from taxpayers.
Right, right.
I'll make that
Local
motion.
tax.
All the stumps or just selected stumps?
It's just the grinding one,
The
is
big ones,
these
the
ones.
ash stumps, the ash trees.
The trouble is, Tommy, they're gonna stay for another year or so.
Yeah,
And so,
yeah, yeah.
it's gonna be hard to plow it, I mean, we don't, but thinking ahead, they don't look that great. What they said they would do is when they grind them, they would clean up their mess, and then, as you pointed out, the grade can be kind of fixed with
Yeah.
whoever does the septic system job or whatever.
So I make that motion.
Okay.
Second it.
So, real quick question then, it sounds like you just answered the question I had, which is whether this was gonna happen this year. And what you're talking about in terms of going out to bid for the septic system, sounds like DOT is not gonna. do
Yeah,
this.
I don't get the gist, and I think we kind of heard that last year too.
They're gonna start doing the surveying and the engineering this year.
Right, but they're not, we won't
We
have.
don't know when they're
okay.
gonna stick a shovel in the ground, no.
Okay.
What is optimistic, what is good though, is things are going forward, and that map,
Oh, yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
pointed
yeah,
that, right
yeah,
out,
yeah.
and I met with the engineer, and so that,
Okay.
it's all going ahead, but.
I was just,
And obviously, we have our survey information too.
All right, so motion's been made and seconded to accept this proposal and
Do some stuff.
up to
right,
$1,500 for stump
yeah.
grinding.
Same company,
Okay.
they do it all.
Those in favor?
And on that note, I talked to them earlier today, that they can come soon. I don't know if tomorrow. It'll be here soon.
so this is on.
Yeah, it's the same.
Okay. Kim, do you have anything on the new business other?
Yes. Farley's Farm dropped off and came in and paid their renewal fee for their
Retail use.
retail use, and apparently they have to fill out a new application, which I don't understand why, but I told her that they've already been in compliance, so we don't need to go through the application again. It just needs to be signed by you, so if you want to sign it, I'll send it into the state.
Right, but we
They
have to,
obviously are in compliance.
right, well, they haven't even opened yet.
I know.
So
But
this
this,
is
I'm
an
like,
extension.
Well, no, if you recall.
it's a renewal.
If you recall, so we gotta be careful, though. Our ordinance talks about the annual renewal,
Right.
so now we have all three issued. And the land race, I guess, whatever they call it, is the only
They
one.
did it about the same time, but this doesn't expire till July.
I was
So
saying, so they
land
did-
race
land race
should be
is-
July as well.
Yeah, so we issued all three, as you know. Only one is running. But I do, yeah, there's no sense to having another public hearing.
Yeah, I told her no. I told her no, she wanted to, and I said no,
Well, it
there's
says
no
all
Why
this-
does she
reason
want
to.
to?
Well, it says in the ordinance, it
Why
says,
does she want to?
well, it says in the ordinance all that stuff.
Yeah.
But how do you have a public hearing when they haven't even started yet?
Right, but we already had the public hearing, and she's already
Right.
Yes,
met all
right.
the conditions of running, having a retail marijuana
Right.
store, so I don't know why we would have to start the process all over
No,
again.
what I do know from the state, or Mike Field, who works in town, lives in town, and works at this office, they come and do all these inspections prior to anybody opening.
Well, do you need to vote to waive a public hearing?
I think so, I don't think we need to even.
So if I remember, they've already paid once, paid again.
Yeah.
This is the third time, they're
Yes.
still not up and running yet.
Right,
Okay?
But he's getting ready to take that front porch off, he's working.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, so-
I'm not trying to
Right,
be
right,
phony.
right.
Does the ordinance mention a public hearing?
I think it mentions all of those,
I thought he gave us the option.
I think it, okay.
but is that for a renewal,
Okay.
or is that for the initial application?
Oh, no, it is, there is a provision for renewal because the fees are less,
Yes,
right?
we opted, what?
I would entertain a motion to waive the public hearing.
I make that motion if allowed.
Those in favor? Okay, now, I would entertain a motion to have me sign this piece of paper.
They're still gonna pay the fee, right?
They've already paid the fee.
Was it $500?
Yep.
Okay, yep, I would move it,
Yeah,
okay, go ahead.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, those in favor?
Boy, they're the best customer so far.
They give us money, we don't have to do it.
Keep opening it. I thought about this the other night, though. I did think about, like, when does land race run out? When do all these people run out?
Yeah.
Do you have anything else?
Yes, one last thing, I've talked to
They
you,
are,
I
but they
already
still have to
mentioned
go
it
to
to you. We have some old computers that need to be updated in the town office, and I got a quote from Burgess to replace 4 of them. We've already carried over the computer replacement balance from the prior year. So we currently have almost $4,200 in there, and I have a quote for $39.16 to replace 4 computers, which would be 2 counter computers, and one of them is not currently working. We took that out because of COVID, but I'm gonna put it back on, so that way
Okay.
we can, and this one's going to replace the code enforcement officer computer, the 2 counters, and the assessor's computer.
I entertain the motion.
They're all older than 5 years, right?
Way older than 5 years.
Wow. So moved.
Second.
Those in favor? Okay. Anything else? Okay, I have something on the other, something we discussed earlier. I would like to see us touch base with the town attorney and have a very strongly worded letter sent to Mr. Baker across the street. If you notice, there's dump trucks and paving equipment and everything sitting over there. And the Maine DEP has a stop work order on that lot, and they want vegetation replanted that was killed when he filled into the wetlands and everything. And we sent him a letter to that effect last October, November, and nothing has been done. So I'd like to have our attorney touch base with him by letter and tell him that if he does not meet a certain deadline, and you guys can decide what you want to set for a deadline, that we will proceed with court proceedings.
Does they take him to court?
We'll take him to court if he doesn't. The DEP was adamant that if we don't, DEP sets the criteria, they set the rules. but they don't do the enforcement arm of it. They leave the municipality, again, the state of Maine, passes the buck down to the municipality to do the dirty work here, so, and we sent him a letter last November and told him what needed to be done and what the DEP wanted done, and so far he's done absolutely nothing.
And the letter had stated to, for them to reach out.
Right, and we asked,
We've never
the
heard
last thing we asked for in that letter was for them to touch base with us and discuss it. And if, you know, I mean, we would be more than willing to work with them on a timeline and everything, but we can't let it go on forever. At some point, the DEP's gonna come to us and say, well, what have you done? And so far, we've done nothing, so. Discussion, anybody wanna make a motion that we do this and we'll second it and we'll discuss it if you want, or?
Yeah, I move the motion, that we, or I make that motion.
Okay. Okay, any discussion?
The only discussion I have is we leave it up to Kristen.
Yeah.
Give her all the information and let her.
Yep, I would send all the information to Kristen, I think she has most of it
Yeah.
now.
Didn't she write the lot?
Well, the letter actually was written by us, but she has a copy of it, and she also has all the correspondence from the DEP.
Well, the letter was somewhat written by us, it was mostly written by the
Right.
DEP, they
Oh,
told.
right.
No, exactly, but it wasn't
Yeah.
written by her.
Right, it wasn't written her, I signed it, we wrote it, I signed it, but it was the verbiage that the DEP gave us.
It is, you cited, we did, we cited the verbiage, and the other thing we did is obviously going into winter, I think we gave a little,
Right.
you know, it was November if I remember, and we gave some time, and now
Well-
it's June 1st almost.
You know, I mean, that lot's kind of a goldfish bowl, and I get people asking me all the time, well, what's going on with that lot? What's going on with that lot? You know, because people realize that it has been, the wetlands have been invaded and everything, so, you know, if we don't pursue this one, how do we pursue the next one?
Yeah, you agree, Dale?
Okay,
You agree?
Yes.
all right? All those in favor? All right, we'll send off the information to Kristen, and if she has any questions, have a call, we'll discuss it with her.
It won't be till next Tuesday. So, yeah.
If the board doesn't object, I can reach out to her.
Okay.
Is that's
Yeah,
all right?
that's fine.
Or just let her know what we did. The other thing real quick on that is we obviously got the survey, the draft survey back.
Yes.
And I think everybody, you haven't seen it? Okay, there's a copy downstairs. Allison, I don't know if you've seen it, but
A draft of,
the survey for the,
no, I haven't
for the
seen it.
Nequasset Road and
Okay.
and the abutter.
Yeah.
Do you also want to send that to me?
The survey company's gonna come over and flag the lines, and it's obvious that those rocks are at least 15 feet outside his property line.
Yeah, there's some goods and some bads, right? It appears that the line is definitely back farther than the Nequasset Road outer edge, but it also appears that the property line may actually be closer to the meeting house than we want. The pin that's on the ground has nothing to do with anything.
We may have to move our Christmas
The
tree.
Christmas, well, wait, it's on his land, right? But, having said that, there
I'll
may be,
put another one on
Well,
our side of the church line.
we don't really, we did it by scale, so it's very close, but the other thing is we may obviously have potential
Yeah.
filling on town property too.
Right.
So it's,
It's very, very, very potential that
right.
our property's been filled on. For one thing, the surveyors told us that they could not find the pin because it's been buried, so that is kind of an indication that it's still on our land, it shouldn't be on our land.
Is that going to put the ramp that's at the side door too close to the?
No, the ramp is totally fine, and Debbie, there's an exemption for handicap.
Handicap ramps don't count,
Good.
period, they don't count on setback or anything.
There are, as you know, like even with land race, it's a requirement. It's beyond that, the property line. I think the best recommendation, or if the board agrees, is as David had said, the surveyors flag that line, flag the Nequasset roadside, and then we can at least visually see what we're talking about.
Right. And then we'll try to have a meeting with Philip
That's right.
and come to a meeting of the minds.
Yeah, he can dispute, obviously, that, but he got to figure out what grounds he can dispute it, you know, and stuff. And what, is that all that?
That's it on that.
Real quick, final thing, Allison, I did reach out to the individual in Barley Neck, and I have not heard back.
Okay.
And this is in reference to the
Dispute about the
setback. issue with the property on Broadway Neck, you know?
Oh, the old church?
Yeah, and so Allison had asked me, and I reached out today, sent a text message, just said, just curious where we
Because
were
we
at.
have, all we have right now is the survey from the one property owner, and so we asked the other property owner.
And then,
Who
and
disputes the
who
survey.
disputes it?
To have his own survey
Right.
done and see what he comes up with.
And we have asked them to.
But you gotta do it in this lifetime, obviously.
Right.
Yeah.
Right,
Because
well,
otherwise we gotta respond to the other one.
so is the neighbor that had his survey done, are they still pushing to have the
Well, I
I
think,
have not
addition torn
heard,
down? or-
no, nobody's pushed it. What
I mean, I haven't heard anything,
No.
so
No,
I
me neither.
figured it kind of quieted
Well, the way it
down.
was left is I reached out on behalf of the board to the individual who disputes it, and he said, well, I'll have to get a surveyor and whatever. And all I said was,
That was a while ago.
that was quite a while ago, and it does take time, but all I said was, just curious what the,
I mean, if
Any-
he's not
any-
gonna do it.
I mean,
then
this
we
is
have
really,
to-
at this point, it's a civil thing, you know?
Well, it is.
Unless he has violated the setback.
if her survey is correct, then he built a building, the difficult part is, if her survey is correct, he filled out a building permit application, did not meet the setbacks, and it is too close.
Right.
Now that we know it, it's sort of like, okay, so.
But there's a remedy to that. If it's too close, there's a remedy to it. If it's over the property line, then the only remedy is for the two neighbors to
That's
come
right.
to a meeting,
So,
you know.
so you're right, David, it's not over the property line, and we had indicated that to him, like, you can say you agree with the survey, and the town can pursue what action it takes with a penalty,
Right.
if we so choose to. Or, he said, I dispute it, so now you've got to prove
Right.
your case.
Right.
It's like what we're gonna do across the
We
street, right?
can do a consent agreement,
That's right.
or he could go to the Board of Appeals,
Yep.
and they may grant a variance. I mean, if he's only 1 foot too close or something, they may grant a variance for the setback, you know, but,
I don't think we.
there are remedies available, but it should move forward, I
Yeah,
agree with that.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just one of these things when I was driving down the road, it's like, oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
now, she'd asked me, and I said, sure, I'll just leave a text, and I have not heard, but I will let you know.
I thought where we hadn't heard anything further, that maybe it had just gone away, so, who knows?
Maybe it has.
I think this is what's gonna happen with Mr. Baker. I'm sure that he'll dispute the survey, but then it's the same thing. It's like, okay, so how many months, years like, how long does it, you know, the town,
We immediately remove the rocks back and then let him get his own survey to say we're wrong.
well, this is the same idea over there. If the town of Woolwich spends money and says that it's this, or the public spends money and says it's this way, then
When we were on the planning board, how many times did we go through this? We always had one guy that knew he owned that green folder, but the other guy's survey said that his line was over there. And I always told everybody, the survey trumps your uncle's memory, you know? So,
okay.
anything further? If not, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Sean, have a question for Allison about the licenses?
Oh, yeah, we can chat after.
All right,
That's
so
a
move.
state thing.
So move.
All right, we're out. Thank
Thank you, I'm sorry, I apologize for being late.
No, no,